Hello there, welcome to One on One. My name is Bridget Otu, and it's the month of December. We are celebrating, we're in the festive mood. And one event that personally I'm always excited about, well, you could say I'm biased because I absolutely adore the artist, is Manifestivities. We did it last year here, and this year it's also coming on. So how will this year's one be different from what happened a year ago? Given the kind of month we're in, right? Occupy Jilobi House, that's a democracy hub. They are going to process the entire month of December. The Ghana Police Service, they were against it, but you when you listen to Barack Obama says, you don't really need permission from the police. They are supposed to provide, assistance, traffic regulation, just be there as a guide. So they'll go ahead with it. I don't know what will happen. You guys know what happened the first time I joined them. So how is that going to pan out, right? In the midst of the protest, and programs like Manifestivities, how will that pan out? Do you go for the protest in the morning, maybe come and chill in the evening? Who knows, maybe Manifest has that. He joins us in the studio. God MC, thank you always for joining us in the studio.
Thank you as always. It's always an honor and a joy having conversations with you.
It's a pleasure and also always humbling to have you. Right?
Thank you.
So, Manifestivities. I have been, look, I'm not going to pretend I know every name that you have put out there. I don't, because I care about you, and I'm like, okay, if Manifest is, they're good, yeah. Because I trust your opinion. Just walk me through what goes into the crop of talents that you have in this year's Manifestivities, and what went into deciding who to bring on board.
Well, this year in particular, we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop. But of course, we are Ghanaians and Africans.
Right.
So that is the nuanced understanding of how to curate it. So that was one informative part of it. Hip hop has been very influential to both the Ghana and the African scene. So that's one consideration. Another consideration, of course, is the sort of artists that the people who come to Manifestivities like yourself would love. And then some of those, a lot of times, those are artists I have worked with. So that also helps. And then, of course, we seek out other artists as well. And then finally, also most importantly, is every year we also try to give a Gen Next stage to also highlight some very dope, not as known artists. So that also, so it's the theme first. It's a bit of a curation that comes organically from my connections or like-minded artists that people would love. Then also trying to spotlight the next up. And then also just surprises in general, we just were shocked down sometimes, you understand? I feel like every Manifestivity should have something about it that feels like unique to it. And so we are also always trying with it. And this year, because of the Hip Hop at 50, we have a longer curation that makes it festival start from the afternoon. Okay,
so I go on Twitter every other day and I see, guess who? Guess who? Every other day I go on Twitter, guess who? How many do we have? How many numbers? Where are we? How many artists do you have now?
That's a good question, but I've announced at least 5 of the main acts. I think the first act was Aries from South Africa, who I featured on. He's brilliant, he's dope. I think that the hip hop heads love him.
And by the way, we're putting all the names on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, my editors are going to do a great job.
Okay,
so
cool.
They will split the screen and then they will mention them. It's fine.
Yeah, so there's that.
We'll run through them.
And then I think Asaka Boys was the next one. I was very excited about because I'm also a big fan of theirs. I love that movement. And then Ladipo from Nigeria, I've worked with him. He's doing amazing. Lamem Gang. Love those guys too.
3 out of 3.
Yeah, and then Show Them Camp as well so far. Don't worry, we'll be announcing some women, so don't worry. One thing we try and do is that
you
kind of balance.
You have to get that out of me before I ask you.
No, but it's good. It's good that you have the face of accountability, so that I know that if I have step,
right. But is there a number we're looking at? Is there a ceiling to say?
So here's how it works, right? So even though you might get announced a lot of artists, some come on my set. So it's not that everybody is doing long sets. So we have a curatorial approach with these things. So even if you see 20 acts, it's not like, so a lot of acts
it's not like each is going to have 10 minutes,
No. We're trying to curate it in a way in which you have special moments with all the acts, some longer than others, etc. But it feels like one long, big experience that doesn't feel tiring. So that's what we are working on. I don't know if this year we're going to put the times on it. I've always wanted the final, last, one day we'll be able to put ahead of time slots. See, 8 p.m. manifest. This, da.
And we actually go by it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you mentioned that. Is the lateness, I mean, yes, there's a Ghanaian culture to it. That's, yes, we're Ghana man time, right? But in your experience, is it the audience thing or is an artist thing?
Well, no,
in terms of
I will not put it on the audience at all.
Okay.
The audience honors you by paying for a ticket, whether they come late or not. It's their prerogative. I do quite remember, for instance, being younger and for a long time KSM having the shows.
I wanted you to finish so I can mention him.
So you
and
develop,
White,
you develop the culture. Right. So I even apologize to everybody who came last year. So as much as it's not as late as everybody else's, it definitely started later than we wanted it to. And this year they forget. Me, that was one thing. I almost. No, I'm exaggerating. I was almost getting into fights with my team about that. Right. Not through no fault of theirs, because we start setting up 3 days before, etc. But Ghana be Ghana. There's always something that is threatening to like push you back. But you
there's
just
structure systems.
Yeah, there's it might be a vendor, it might be something that is threat. But I think we just have to put together all the potential stops to anything and just be resolute, because once you establish the culture of the timing of it, like Uncle Ebo and KSM.
No, true.
It's the best possible thing, because the quality of an event sometimes can be killed by how tiring it is for people. Yeah. And so we are doing the best job we can to make sure that part is worked on.
I agree. If you've ever been to Ebo White's play, 8 p.m., if you're late, you'd go. They've already started the program. And KSM's, whether it's a stand-up or any special piece that he has, when you get to the car park, people are rushing in because they don't want to miss the opening of it. Because sometimes when you lose the opening, then you miss generally the entire thing. And also when program starts late, you get drained.
Absolutely.
I went to a gospel program, Porter's Praise, and the main person I wanted to see was Nathaniel Bassett, and he was the last person to perform. And even though I went there to see him, I couldn't stay to watch it. Because the timing.
Yeah, the timing. Yeah. So no, definitely. I mean, we are on top of it.
How late were you last year? Like about how many minutes?
Man, I have conveniently forgot. It was definitely not comparable to other shows, but still, for me, it still felt like a bit of a strike off. People had a good time, but that was for me the.
So in your view, if organizers, not even the artists, but if organizers turned around, then the public or the audience would follow.
Absolutely. You have to, and it's almost like sometimes they say, the famine before the feast. I think people's fear is like, okay, I'm going to start the show, half the time the place is going to be empty, etc. But it's worth establishing the culture of, for me.
Okay.
So for me, with my team, it's like, and so this year I'm going on stage early. I'm bringing a lot of people, and I'll have breaks while I was bringing a lot. So that's our strategy, for instance. So that I'm already on stage. If other people want to be late, it's okay. We can balance it out whilst I'm on stage and bring them on. So we figured out 1 or 2 things about it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I know about next gen. I mean, next gen. I'm a big tennis fan. So when next gen tennis, I follow next gen this, next gen. And then Manifest Gen next. Why?
Yeah, because...
Why? And it got me to actually listen. I was like, did I read it right? I thought I did not see it well. Yeah, why? What Gen next?
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of... I guess the word is topsy-turvy, so the other way around. But yeah, it's the next... it's the next gen or the Gen next. Wow. It's a mind trip.
Generation next.
Yeah, generation next. And it's also important for me that just as much as we remember the past, we have to look into the future. And so Manifestivities has always represented try to platform some of the dopest coming up. Not because it's a requirement, but because it actually makes the show great. Last year, that was one of people's most favorite segments. We had people like Young Dems, etc. They were like, what's this new music I haven't heard? Or this music that I just heard I really like. I love that it's been given this kind of stage. So that's what we're doing, but it's going to be a bit more expansive this year because we're going to include earlier in the day dance workshops, dancers, DJs, a whole bunch of other people.
Is it a whole day's event?
Yeah, well, it starts at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Yeah, so between the Gen Next is between 3 p.m. and I believe 6 or 7. I would have to double check.
Okay, no.
It will come on the screen, right?
No, yes. No, we will put it. We have time to
so that is just really giving It's giving the future a spotlight. That's what the whole Gen X thing is about.
And I don't know how you guys call it, but you when you put the videos next to each other, so you rap and the person continues.
The duets.
It's called
duets.
I don't know. I was thinking like you start and somebody else finishes. I saw that. So I saw one with a Gen Next. The brain has to process it well. With a Gen Next artist. Tell me what's behind that. What are you looking for? Why that?
Yeah, I think it's, every time Manifestivities is coming up, and especially when we announce artists on the come up, their managers, different people start hitting us up, etc. And it's wonderful. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's about also democratizing how to platform people, right? Give people their chance. And also that the process of also spotlights people at the same time.
Right.
So even if you're not on that stage, the process of being part of the challenge to get on that stage will still give you a spotlight. So we feel like it's a cool little thing to do with the music, let people highlight their creativity. Last year we did one with Clean and Pure. I think it was cool to see who won it. He did a great performance. And this year we're going to do another one, give people, democratize it. And I love doing it too because it also gives me an opportunity to see some of the talent coming up. And it's beautiful, it's wonderful. I mean,
is there anyone in particular that stands out, or
maybe
a couple of acts that
we just started
it?
So it's like if people go on my pages, they'll see me start spotlighting.
I was watching someone else. I was like, "What's this one called?"
No, it's dope, man. I mean, Ghana's pool of talent is much deeper than we think, and these kind of challenges or things will give us an opportunity, to give people on the come up. Somebody being on the come up has nothing to do with how great their talent is. Yeah. We often mistake popularity for quality, right? So somebody might.
You know what? It's good that you went there because we don't know you to do like what's trending or like you said, what's popular is not quality per se. So yes, an artist may not be popular, but they may have really good songs that people love and stuff. Yeah. How do you then, because when everybody is going for now, every song has a dance music and it's the kind of 10 minutes or whatever they call it. Yeah. So how do you then silence, right, all the noise and pick something and say, no, this is good. This is good enough?
Because, the oceans and the skies that have always existed have always been vast what's the word? To accommodate many kinds of creatures. Right. I believe in abundance and vastness. And I believe that the same way that, a friend is saying, Curation could exist as Nana and Pedu and whatever, that it didn't have to be one way at any stage. It's very possible for people to enjoy diversity.
But do you get a sense of or pressure in towing a certain line or what's popular? Not even for you, but even the kind of artists that you mentor. Do you get a sense of pressure that, look, maybe this is what will work? That this is who I am?
My idea of what will work has nothing to do with what's working. It's based on just how dope it is. If, let's say you started a new show and I saw it online, I'm like, oh, this is a brilliant idea. People are really going to like this combination of Bridget and this person doing this banter. It could have just 500 views, but I know it could be 5 million. So my idea is based on the quality of idea and I think the potential connectivity of it. There might not be a pathway yet of how to let it reach that popularity thing, but that's a process.
But how do you convince a young act who is trying to break through, who is trying to be at the top, that, okay, this is who you are. People may come to like you. It might not be trendy, it might not be popular, but this is who you are. How do you convince somebody when they are trying to get their bread?
I don't convince people. One thing I don't try and do is give people unsolicited advice. I can give them unsolicited support, but not unsolicited advice. Okay. That's number one. But
that's a good one.
But then
unsolicited support. I have to take that in. Sorry.
That one day I'll do. Yeah, I'll sit somewhere and cheerlead. But advice there, unsolicited there. But if they solicit it, I probably will have something to say if they are somebody who is possibly more like me. When I say more like me, which is that they really love this thing that they do. They really love it. They love music, and so they do it, they're trying to do it at the highest level and they're trying to be authentic and unique. So that's a great place to start. So I would give them validation in that and say, okay, then now you have to look at the the environment, right? You have to look at the ecosystem, like how you do in any marketplace, and be like, okay, how do I figure this out based on who I am? So yours might be, this might be an internet thing. Yours might be TikTok. It might be something that you figure that based on the variables that you have going for you, and based on what the environment is doing, that you can break through this way. Or simply put, finding hacks. That's what it is. Every artist that is popping now that's dope in the African scene, whether it's Burna, Thames, etc., is unique and found their own hacks. You know, Thames doesn't make Afrobeats music. One of the biggest African acts. Yeah. Global.
Right.
If it was Ghana, it almost because we did intimate fans.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Why? Isn't it the Ghanaian does not have quality air? I mean.
No. I think it's just a lot of pontificating, because in reality, when people sit by themselves, if they love music, they are listening to everything. They might listen to Kwabena sing a love song purely that's not dance, or hear him sing a whatever kind of song. But there is, because I think that, you know, there's a bit of herd mentality that comes with like, oh, this one there, for this thing, or da. We love pontificating like that because it's sort of, it's like banter that makes people, I guess, feed their insecurities or make them feel like they belong, etc. But true, human beings like diversity. You don't wake up every day and eat fufu, even if it's your favorite food.
Right. No, I mean, I think I was online watching a couple of videos and dances, and when you're going through the comments, people say, so every song now comes with a dance. Every song now comes, and you could tell that like they are fatigued by that. And in answering that question, did you tell us how Manifest did it? How did you do it?
I'm still doing it.
At a time, I know. How did you do it, and how are you still doing it in a time when there is pressure, you know, to join the herd mentality or to be infected by the herd mentality?
Yeah, I think my first hack, right, for myself was that, and I've said it several times, is that when I came back, I made it a conscious effort to think of my base in Africa than my base in Ghana. So then if there's in every country, which there are millions, right? If in every country there was even just 100,000 people that could potentially be my fan base, I would be trying to cultivate them. So that way, you know, certain things happen for me really quickly. So I went to South Africa partly because of that agenda. And so then when Ghanaians are seeing me on MTV-based Channel O, then it's validation. Then, you know, I always tell people I got nominated for a Channel O before a Ghana Music Award.
Right.
And that's wild, right?
Right.
So for me, that was the hack. Yeah. Is that I felt like I was doing music that could cross borders.
Beyond, yes, that's what I was
thinking. And so if I relied on a smaller sect or a subset of an audience to validate me, then I was playing cha-cha with my career. So for me, that was the hack, and somebody else could be different.
Could that be the reason why, you know, some arts act one-hit wonder? I mean, you don't see them after a particular hit. You never hear of them again. I have a few songs in my head. When you make Kiss the Bride, you know, like something like that. Song. Yeah, but it's gone, right? Where are they?
Oh no, didn't they do the friend is saying the thing in
UK? Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
But that was it's a huge platform. But what came out of that? I mean,
I don't know.
Yes.
So I guess your question is.
I'm only reading drama about them.
Your question has to do with why people are wondering.
Yes.
Sorry, people are one-hit wonders?
One-hit wonders. Could that be, you know, the pressure to fit in, to produce something to feed that, you know, what's the trend? So we got it, we got the hit, we're happy, and after that, what next?
I think it's the pathway towards the hit, right? Some people, by the time they have a hit, they don't know how to perform, they don't know how to do interviews, etc., because it happened maybe quickly.
Right.
So they are not prepared. So their next moves after that sort of do not match the sort of attention they get. And you know, it's like the story of Icarus. People love the fall, they love the flying, and to see the boy flying as much as they love to see the boy falling into the water. So the same way they held you when you got the hit, and then they can't wait to say, so the pressure of sort of that early success.
And people are lethal, vitriolic.
Vitriolic. So I just pray and hope for everybody that makes it early, that they've built a bit of either personal character, or they built a bit of kind of professional character in terms of their ability to do their work. Imagine that your first time on TV, you blew up instead of having gone through steps of really
how do you
going
do with
through
the fame?
grind. Yeah, so it's like, I think a lot of people, it might feel too early for them. Yeah.
Okay, so we're taking our very first break, and when we come back, I would ask Manifest, just on that point, whether privilege helped him in being authentic and remaining that, because he could afford. Some people are hungry, honestly, and they just can't afford to wait, and be original and get to the top. We'll be right back.
It's like this. Gary soakins for breakfast, noodles for supper. Gotta eat proper, but my pockets ain't dapper. Junk food, manics, economics is a bluffer. Need to go organic on my health, might suffer. As I grew old, I was told to be tougher. Gotta shoot the 5 to survive, but I'm a rapper. No doubt, if the shots ring out, braka, I ain't going out like a sucker, I might suffer. If you got a name like Mohammed or Mustafa, flying might be tougher. My sympathies, brother, cause since that was fair, it's been hell if you other. Like Benjamin Linus, your grind is bound to suffer. Baboon, they chop way, monkey, they suffer. Tension, they my inside like Ghana, they play soccer. Success in relatives shout, unseen warfare's the issue. No bra go busy if you suffer. Kayo, they suffer. Taxi driver, they suffer. Musician, they suffer. Opposition, they suffer. Immigrant, they suffer. Bugger, self, they suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer. Villager, they suffer. Broke rapper, they suffer. Priests know they suffer, but small boys, they suffer. Jesus Christ, I'm so nice, I shouldn't suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer. You've never known joy if you've never had to suffer.
Welcome back to One on One. My guest is Manifest, and of course you saw that duet with Gen Next. Okay, so I got that, Gen Next. Before the break, I asked him about, the pressure of making a hit and trying to fit into the trend. Everybody's doing music, dance, but he has remained authentic all these years. And how did he do that? Did your privilege influence? Do you think they gave you a certain opportunity?
That's what they call privilege. Privilege is an advantage, whichever way it is. I have multiple privileges, sort of my background, my education, my being well-traveled, etc. That privilege it's not as advantageous as people would.
In what way?
In the sense of, in the music or in the art. It is very advantageous for me as a person, and my ability to, I think you couched it very well, my ability to not maybe fall into desperation, towards desperation. I love that. But in terms of people's even viewpoint about who an artist is, it is almost the opposite.
Yes.
They can't wait to say that you're not.
After all that,
when you're a real artist, you go school, go away. It's almost as if like they are upset with you for being privileged and being talented at the same time, which I get. So absolutely, and everybody has to. If you're an artist, or you really have to. Because a lot of what we do represents sort of the most marginalized human emotions or human stories, it doesn't mean that we can't exert or use our privilege for good for both ourselves and the environment.
Right.
Most artists in Ghana have gone to school. That's a great privilege. The majority of people haven't gone to uni. Most artists in Ghana are educated. So what that means is that, for instance, you have practiced the art of communication. And so when you're practicing the art of communication, instead of looking down on people, you could use it to uplift people. So privilege, they can be used both personally and as you in your mission and purpose. So me, I've done that. And I still keep on doing that, because right now I've gone further in my career in a way in which I can use the quality of my social network. Everybody that I grew up, not everybody, but most people we grew up with at this stage are doing major things in the world. So it gives me the opportunity to connect certain dots for other people. So everything is not just about me anymore.
Okay. I saw you on the APSA platform, I think, for
the youth forum.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Right. And you hosted. Oh, great. And of course, that video of the gentleman who, started with a $5 million debt. Stuck in my head. And I could relate to, what he was saying. Have you hosted anything before?
Yeah, I mean, a good part of my career has been me doing certain curatorial things, right? So either being in conversation with people, etc. So I guess this is the first one of me hosting a panel, but I've done a lot of conversations with, even during COVID, I used to do an IG Live. So I've done these conversations because I think it's one of my privileges that I have to exert and use to the benefit of people, that I can have these conversations. I'm a bit wide, and I can have conversations, cross-disciplinary conversations. And that's good.
So you didn't have any issues transitioning?
There was no transition. Like, as it's this sort of something that, it's like the conversations I have with my friends, you know. Right. Curtis, who co-founder of ExpressPay on there, he's my classmate. So it's like we've been having conversations since, I mean, I have conversations with people, not just artists. Actually, as a matter of fact, me, I don't even talk to too many artists.
You don't talk to artists? Why?
I'm very artist.
Why? On my head, eh?
No. I think it's also good to just not be in a bubble, right? So if you're an artist, you should speak with artists and other art forms.
So if you're talking to artists, I mean, what do you talk about?
What?
An artist. You're talking to another artist.
Girls, I'm kidding. No. I think the artists that I speak to, like I have a lot of conversations with people, you know, I'm giving us away.
Oh, no.
With Mensa, for instance, right? People would not know. But we speak about any kind of thing. I know him.
He's so deep.
He's so vast too. So we could speak about any kind of thing. And it's like, might be voice note, might be this, and like, hey, Kwame, we want to do it. Like, if we ever did a podcast, it would be over.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
So but anyway, so quickly, so the Absa Youth Forum, it was dope to be able to host the panel, and we curated the panel too. Okay. So I called Sangu, Curtis, Kokui, and so it's really great to do that because it's able to feed the youth with something by attracting them. I know I'm an artist, so the point of attraction, but to delve into something that is very motivational and inspirational.
When I was watching, I didn't get a sense of an artist doing an interview. I mean, you sounded like, obviously, you understood what you were saying, the questions, and how you were even able to get that out of him. You know, but what was the question in there about?
I think as Sangu did, I asked him if he's been fired before, or a major failure.
Look at the story,
absolutely. And I think curation is a huge part in success in anything, you know, or as they say, pre-production. And in my artistic journey and just my life journey, there's a lot of things I do. Like, I do a lot of pre-production in my head and with my team. So it's like, it's just in life how to think not just in the moment, but prior to the moment, so that in the moment, whilst everything is organic, it's still, you have done enough reflections to be able to like hit the nail on the head, you know, ask the right question at the right moment, right follow-up, etc. Anyway.
Get it.
I'm not coming for a job, I promise.
No. I'll be happy to. I mean, I'll be happy to sit here and have you interview me, yes. But I asked that because of, in organizing manifestivities, as an artist, I mean, you're part of the technical team, you know, you obviously the set, everything that will come in, part of the curation of it. After what, 10 years, about 10 years now, does it get easier every year when you're organized? Because people say, oh, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Does it really get easier?
It's gotten more difficult, but it's gotten better organized. So difficult in some way, easier in some way. I mean, the human capital is better now. We know we are able to work with some of the best people, you know, whether it's from the light and sound person to a creative direction person, just in terms of the product. The amount of production that has been going on the last couple of months is crazy. I love that. But also when you're scaling up, there's bigger things to deal with, you know. So it gets easier in the sense of the human capital and just our preparedness. But we scale up and we don't have as much money sometimes. We don't have as much resources. We are not, you know, so you're right. I am actually in a WhatsApp group with production. You know, all these kind of things that you would expect that by now all I'm doing is rehearsing or talking to artists. So yeah, it's easier in one sense, but it's a challenge you have to embrace. Nothing good or impactful comes with ease. Eventually it should be easier, but Charlie, it began how we did too, so you have to acknowledge that, it's not the same as other places, so you just have to embrace it. For me, it's rewarding because it's like, we get such great feedback from Manifestival.
In what way, I'm still on the apps of forum, so in what way could you relate to what Sangu said about, you know, whether you've been fired before or, you know, maybe the biggest challenge that he'd encountered? How could you relate? How did you relate to that?
Oh, wow. Well, the first part of it, have I been fired before? Yes.
Yes.
My first job was at the college cafeteria. Who gets fired from the cafeteria? I got fired from
What
the cafeteria.
happened?
I mean,
Sorry. What
that's
happened?
wild.
I'm sorry. I was like,
Yeah, no, it's true.
what happened?
It's not what happened. I think that the long and short
Have
of
you
it
talked
is,
about this story before?
no, I hinted at it, I think, at the panel, but I haven't.
Please,
But
what
the
happened?
long and short of it, let's just say I'm not built for service jobs. So it helped me to understand. The lesson in there was, please, do work that you don't have to interface with too many people, because your social battery is not that much. And then so that was the lesson there. So that's that. Okay. One of the biggest challenges I think was when I first came to Ghana. I think hinting back to one of your questions earlier. When I first came to Ghana, having started a career in the US, starting to get a bit of traction in the Europe. What people don't realize, by the time I moved to Ghana, I'd worked with Damon from Gorillaz, Tony Allen, Erykah Badu. I'd started making certain impactful things without having the popularity,
Right.
But then, so making that step felt like to people like a regression, right? You come to Ghana, the infrastructure is not there, etc. So I think, so I guess the challenge was the move, right? Now I'll get to the failure, in my opinion. So fix that challenge by, like I told you earlier, taking a continental approach to the fan base and pounding pavement. South Africa was one of my first very impactful markets, both in terms of traction and money.
Right.
One of my first biggest checks came from a song I did with Double HP, Rest His Soul, from South Africa, and it got used for an ad across like over 20 African countries for like 3 years. That's a nice check.
Wow.
So my failure is that even after this happened, somewhere down the line, I got sucked into this whole Ghana thing that I neglected some of my earlier thinking of the continent. So you understand? So instead of prioritizing the continent.
So you were in, so you what? You were swamped?
Yeah, no.
Because when you're outside, it's like you had a better person.
You lose your GPS more because you start getting traction. You start having no Chicago or Bravo, etc. You're getting calls for Ghana shows, etc. And then you divert your attention without forgetting that, the thing that gave you the traction in the first place is thinking a little broader. So then you're doing Europe, then you're doing Ghana, and then you forget that, South Africa, Nigeria, these are the places that, so that was for me a failure. And then in retrospect, I look at it and say, look, then I had a couple of years in which I think the growth didn't match sort of the work, because I slightly lost my way in the GPS part of it. So as much as perception
when did you have that, what operated aha moment, like, ooh, what am I doing?
I had that.
What point,
I think I probably had that aha moment around 2018. So
Wow.
I didn't lose my GPS too much for too long.
Right.
But around that time, I just I had to come back to basics. Like, my guy, like, you have a lot of respect from your artist peers, etc. People love you for doing something different, etc. You're not competing with any of this. And you have these self-assurances, but you also have to make sure that your actions are in line with the vision. And the vision and the mission has always been similar. So come back to basics. So forget how people are moving. Not that I was always thinking.
It still comes back to the point
it.
we were talking about earlier. So your privilege helped you a bit to actually think through that, because then you would have become
Well, at that point, I mean, after you become a full-grown adult, taking care of yourself and others, at that point, it's not the privilege of sort of your upbringing. It's the privilege of being able to do music full-time and have it. And then also having just having the mental fortitude and just the capacity to be able to say, like, nah, let me switch gears. Like, I'm not desperate, So I mean, if I wasn't fairly successful as an artist, I mean, let me be honest. It took a long time to be successful as an artist at a place where I was comfortable with personally. But if I didn't feel like there was motion in me, I would have left it alone.
Wow.
Honestly. Because that's the thing. Because it's like, if you have been gifted with so much, which is what I think I have been, it would be kind of irresponsible to just be chasing a pipe dream without having the kind of influence. Because I could do many things. I'm many things, right? So if being an artist is the primary vehicle. It needs to be successful, not just because to serve me as a person, but to also honor my gifts.
Okay.
You know, if that one no far, like maybe I could, you know, start a TV station, something. You understand?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've never had that. So there's privilege in that regard, but I'm saying, anyway.
And you said when you came back to Ghana, for instance, the infrastructure was an issue.
Still is.
Has it? So my question is, has it improved? What has changed? What is so difficult about operating in the Ghana music industry?
A lot of what improves is by a lot of individual effort. It is not a systemic effort, right? So think of everything that has improved entertainment-wise, whether it's festivals, manifestivities, Afrofuture. These are individual efforts, right? The individual efforts, I think, you know, a lot of private individuals maybe establishing a venue, this, that, systemically, unlike how in the K-pop thing where they, you know, it was systemically done, like, okay, we want to do this in film, etc., over decades. That's not happening here. There's glimpses of it every now and then, you know. Some year they'll say Year of Return, but last, what is even left behind after that, aside from the PR? So systemically, there's not much of an infrastructure built to support the growing creative system or tech system. On the contrary, Ghana makes it so difficult for entrepreneurs to operate. You know, we need to bribe, this thing. I mean, I'll tell you a story, and I don't know how happy my manager will be about, but I'll say it, I'll be honest. I mean, I love working at the Bukom Arena, but last year we booked the arena. We moved to Untamed Empire this year. But last year we booked the arena.
Now it's at Untamed Empire. Yes.
Last year we booked the arena, and then I think we booked it 3 days in a row so we can do etc. The day off, they had a funeral happening in the car park, saying that, oh, you rented the venue, not the car park.
Whoa.
I mean, this is a deep systemic problem of how corrupt our system is. Is that a technicality? Are you serious? Like, that's sabotage, you know, as far as
so
I'm
the
concerned.
persons who are coming to the festival, where would they park?
I mean,
What
I'm just saying that certain things systemically is needless in this place, right? And if we had a system that was much more supportive of how things happen here, to answer your question, we're still infrastructurally very challenged. There's not any kind of a thinking, there's not 5, 10-year, 20-year plan of how to build, right? So it's only individual efforts, like mine, like yours, like whoever else's, that has made the place grow. But it's not growing in the kind of proportion that even African creative space or African music, how it's being spotlighted in the world, it's not growing in that proportion.
Okay, but there's always, so is that why any kind of support, right, from government, because it is not planned, it's short-lived? Is that why we don't see any impact? I mean, in what way can government permanently support and help improve the music industry?
Well, I mean, that's a huge question, right? And I don't want to make it a singular government thing. I like to think in institutions, right? Okay. So maybe the first thing is to have institutions that work, that are connected to building these things without thinking of political interests, right? So I like to think institutionally, or even with corporations.
So institutionally, here, what are we? Who are we talking about?
I mean, GAMRO is ineffective.
GAMRO, yes. Oh, they're always fighting over.
Yeah, but I mean, there could be new institutions built. Like, I mean, I feel like all our institutions are old, right? There's no institution to think of, for instance, like the idea of performance spaces. Or
I get it.
Whatever, but. Yeah, I think there's that, and so it's not just even with government, so even with corporates, like, you know, people are always talking CSR, blah, blah, this, and the third. Why is there no creative or tech agenda, you understand, where it's like, okay, then they are all...
So are they investing it or injecting it wrongly? Because we see corporate support. Is it individual program support? But not to build like a structure, a system that lasts beyond a particular program.
Yeah, that's what I believe. For instance, I mean, if you are a corporate body and you're always renting out places to do certain things, why don't you think of a 10-year like multi-purpose space that can be beneficial to both you and other things. I mean, there's so many different things that, including just build. We don't have to be doing everything in hotel, and I mean, we have to be a bit more imaginative. We've had this National Theatre since when? It's the only one.
Forever, yes.
It's like,
now the
come on
carpet
now.
is off. I think I saw replacing the carpet, and people are excited.
So it's
not
like
not that they are changing the stage. No, carpets.
So it's like what? Once every 30 or 40 years, we'll build something significant. No, it can't happen that way. You know, we look, So I think it just has to be an overhaul of our thinking.
How can the artists, the individual artists, help in changing that or shaping that?
Yeah, I think individual and artists as a collective, being able to speak out clearly, like I'm saying, and also just showing the value. I mean, we are seen as people who are valuable as baits for products and other things. But I think there's so much more influence and value that we have to be able to understand and articulate it in different ways, and also be steadfast in sort of how we think of it. We are all not going to agree on stuff, but collectively we can agree on certain things.
Okay.
And yeah. I've landed. If you have to be careful, me and you are talking there. You take me places. You can.
So I wanted to ask about in organizing manifestivities, for instance, capital. Where does it come from? Because I don't think it will come from only sales.
No, it won't come from only sales. We get sponsorship support. I would be sitting here lying to you that it's ever been enough. Right. You know. And sometimes even when the money can come, when it can't come. So it's a lot of individual effort. You know, borrowing here, doing things. You know, it's a lot of Jinamian vibes going on. I don't even lie to you. Like, I'll tell you this. Yeah. I've not made a single CD from Manifestivities yet, personally.
Wow.
You know. Personally, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
So everything goes into organizing just so you can have a successful show, pay whoever is coming on board, make sure they have a good time and go.
Well, no, I mean, it's a business model, but I'm saying it's a patient business model too, because it's like, okay, we could stay in the same location or we could grow it. And if we grow it too, then I'll say like, okay, so yeah, of course it's a business model and I would like to make loads of money. But I also want it to be successful first and foremost in terms of to be at the height of the quality of experience and all of that thing. That, I mean, you can look at it that anything that I could be taking from it is not being given to me and it's an investment. You know, investment in time, investment in resources and connections, etc. But I don't want to give people the impression that I'm doing like some kind of charity thing.
Right, I guess it.
But I'm just saying that it's like sometimes a business is valued at 50 million. It doesn't mean that the owner has that in you know, I'd rather keep growing the value of the thing than to be concerned about how much is coming to my pocket.
And so do you see in your vision board, on your vision board, do you see it happening, that you're going to turn it around and you make profits and Manifest will have a penny for Manifestivities?
Yeah, because it's, you know, it's also something that is not just a Ghana thing. I would like to be able to do Manifestivities London, New York, South Africa, Lagos, and different things. So an expanded but still well curated thing. So yeah, of course, I'd love it to be a great business idea. But there's so much brand equity I get from Manifestivities because it just fits into who I am and what I do. You know, I mean, and yeah, so I'm not acting like it's like a lost cause or no. It's great. It's booming. Business is booming. But it hasn't boomed in my account yet.
Like that, right? Something, business is booming. They got something.
Business is booming. Yeah, business is booming, but it's difficult.
Right.
Yeah, business is booming, but it's difficult.
How do you see Xmas playing out in the midst of protests? Because I mean, people are angry, they are upset, they want to have fun, but they also want to register their displeasure at the government's performance. How do you see that playing out in December? I mean,
I think two things can be true at the same time.
Okay.
And I personally support, and I think I'm not even for entertainment distracting people.
Right.
So if you think Manifestivity is distracting you, don't come. No, I'm kidding. Come, but I don't want to distract you. I want to encourage you. I want to be able to inspire and motivate you in your spirit, you know, so that after your day full of protests, you're able to come, have a good time, feel inspired for your next day of protest, you know. So as far as I'm seeing it, it's not a clash, especially with what people like me do. It's not a clash. We still want to kind of let you feel inspired in your life, and not that, you know, it's the same way people go to nightclub on Saturday and go to church on Sunday. This is even better. But honestly, it's been a tough year for a lot
Right.
of people, a tough couple of years. So absolutely, go and protest and everything, and express your civil rights and all of that thing. What we are doing.
Do you see impact? Do you see impact? I mean, the first one happened in September, and they're doing in December.
I think it is going to force all of us within the creative entertainment space to be a bit more conscientious in how we do these things,
Right.
and not act like everything is all well and done.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
Right.
Everything is context, that's a good thing. We have to create space so that it's possible to feel like you are in your protest mode and still have a bit of respite and not feel like this thing is tone deaf. So I think it's possible. It's just we're going to have to think through these things logistically. Okay, what happens when people leave there? Do you want to provide a bus? There's going to be all sorts of different things, or in your marketing. When is it that you need to just keep quiet and allow the protest voices to just speak, etc.? So it forces us to have more of a consideration beyond our buy my tickets.
do you get that sense that one of the things that came out, during the Occupy Ujolobi House was the pressure on artists to speak up.
Yeah.
And, you had people write all kinds of things. I'm sorry, I had a good laugh just listening to some of them, write things that did not make sense because they just wanted to say something and sound smart and sound deep. Do you get that? Because they're young people, they can relate to the artists, and they expect the artists to be vocal about it. I mean, pressure to speak or pressure just be silent or say it because you really mean it and want to speak.
This thing is wild. There's so many layers of conversation about this thing, but I'll tell you that my position has never changed about it. Months before the protest, I was in Howard University in conversation, and it's online.
Okay.
And this thing about artists and I guess the obligations in terms of activism, etc.
Right.
And I said, I don't think every artist is an activist.
Sure.
The artists themselves have to be clear about that.
Sure.
And so sometimes you are great as an amplifier. Obviously, if music and how you move empathizes with your audience, they'll love it.
Right.
But don't try to be a political activist. You might not have the capacity or the skill set to even talk about things. Just support. Number one. And
in
number
what
two.
Way? By not speaking, in what way?
No, that's what I'm going to say. Number two, so
ahead.
there also has to be a clarity and consistency in your actions. You have to make a choice, right? You have to make a choice to say that, look, in general, like when Kendrick Lamar doesn't post about anything, nobody is concerned because he doesn't.
And it's music, it's there.
It's in his music, number one, and number two, he barely posts.
Right.
But if you are busy posting about everything funny,
and then you go
off when it's something, people, you have to understand, it sets the tone. But at the same time, I mean, I think it comes back to part of the conversation before. You have to be reflective or pre-produce in your mind so that you're not always being reactionary in those moments, because things will come and pass. And you're also just a human being. Beyond being an artist, you're a Ghanaian or a human being. So you also have to move in a way in which you're not so enveloped in, I am an artist, what should I do, blah blah, and then you chase clouds and you do all these things that they're very icky, so there is some level of responsibility of an artist just being a Ghanaian or a human being. But at the end of the day, I think you need to be, not every artist is a social activist or political activist, and but they have to be clear sort of what their role in society is, and not being tone deaf and cloud chasing.
Right. So anytime Manifest is coming to the studio, I actually don't research on anything. I just allow myself to let the conversation go where the conversation has to go. And so I hope you've enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. Manifestivities on 17th December at the Untamed Empire, Spintex.
Between Spintex and they should just Google it.
Google
Untamed
Empire, please, and you'll be there. Untamed Empire, 17th December. Go there. Look, you can go for your protest, come in 3 p.m. and then have fun throughout the night. And and it sure would be fun. And a lot of, reflective, deep song. Look, not Ghana call hip touch, picnic. No.
Wait, is this an actual bar?
Yes, I don't know where it came from, but some time ago.
That's amazing.
So, no, but not that. Not that. No, but come there and enjoy good music. My name is Bridget Otu. Again, always a pleasure to have you join us. Oh yes, Manifest. He brought me something.
Oh yes. You know.
No, he didn't want to give it to me on there. That's why he
Yeah.
forgot.
No. So I did bring you this. No, you
Is it for
open it yourself.
Manifestivities?
It's merch.
Oh,
But I
merch,
think
yes,
what
yes.
it says is represents you and your character.
Oh, yeah.
No fear.
No fear.
Even if Koti counts
No,
for you.
no fear. We're protesting in December and we're going to Manifestivities. Oh, this is so dope. Yes. Oh, I think I have my t-shirts for December protest.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. See you again, guys.
Yeah.